Anna Torv, not only do you play Olivia Dunham on Fringe, but in season 3 you play faux Olivia from the future, and you even played Leonard Nimoy. Are you trying to win a bunch of Emmys here, or are you just going to go for the one?
Yeah, I actually desperately wanted to play the teacher in the flashback episode with where we go and find out how Peter and Olivia met, but the producers and the showrunners thought that would just be like too many different levels for the fans. They would definitely read too much into that. I was pitching for a prosthetic nose, but I didn't get it.
Well, you can try as much as you like, but I think that would be way too confusing, and it kind of looks a bit greedy, so, you probably should just stick to your own character. But no, to be completely honest, and joking aside, you've really had a range of characters to play in season 3, and you just must be pinching yourself, that you must be feeling so lucky that you get such amazing material, right?
Absolutely. This year's just been a treat. I mean, at the end of last season, when we finally made that kind of leap to the other universe, and when I was told that we were going to meet the Olivia Dunham over there, I couldn't contain my excitement. And then I also didn't know, I'm just so proud of the guys that make this show, that for them to make such a massive commitment to the other side, I think extremely impressive, and I'm thrilled that our audience, followed along and kind of went with it, because it's been a hoot to play. I think everybody would say that too. I know John's had a ball also.
Well, going back to the beginning of the series, did you have any idea where it was eventually headed at the time, or has a lot of what's happened this past season especially been a surprise even to you?
Oh, absolutely. It's constantly a surprise. Every time I get a new script, I'm like, oh, what's happening next? I have to sort of, keep track of it in my mind. But when we started, I didn't really know what to expect. The pilot was written kind of like a film, and you could see that it kind of could go everywhere, but I had never in my wildest dreams did I think that they were going to take it as far as they have. I'm so excited that they did. But no, I didn't really know what to expect, to tell you the truth.
No, I think that's fair enough for a show like Fringe. It's kind of, it's crazy. It does all kinds of weird and wonderful things that obviously the critics and the fans have really responded to in season 3, and you've just come back from upfronts where obviously it's been renewed for season 4. So that's great news, right? You must have been completely thrilled with that result.
Yeah, and we weren't sure this year, but, and so when we did find out, it was it was a real. I'm excited. I think that we've got. I think next season's going to be great. I think that we've sort of set it up. I don't know what they're planning after the end of last season, but I think they've set it up so that I think sky's the limit. Actually, it's like a complete reset, which is great.
The fans of this show are very loyal, maybe as loyal as any fans of any show ever on TV. What does that mean to you, and what do you hear from fans as you're out in the public or through fan mail and so forth?
They just want to know what's going to happen next, as do we. We're kept very much in the dark too. But I was saying that the other day. That's one of the beautiful things about working on Fringe, is that when you do get stopped in the street, everybody's just obsessed with the show and where it's going. And so to be a part of a show where the show is the star is that's exciting, because you feel like you're part of this really fantastically well-oiled machine.
Definitely, and given that the producers of the show and the cast and crew have really kicked it up a notch in season 3, is there any hope that maybe you might get some awards recognition? Because to date, the Emmys and other awards groups have pretty much passed Fringe over as just being a well-made sci-fi show, when it's really so much more than that. Has there been any talk or any hope at all on the set?
Well, every time I do a scene with John Noble, I can't help but think, God, when are you going to get not that he doesn't get the recognition he deserves, but he's a fine, fine actor. But I think people are starting to kind of come around.
Well, speaking of John, you're both from Australia. What did you know of him before you did the show? And also, what is he like on the set? Is he kind of like a mentor to you and the other cast members?
Yeah, John's he's like an inspiration. He's such a beautiful man. I mean, a fantastic actor. I didn't know him before Fringe, but, obviously with Lord of the Rings, I had seen his work and was excited to meet him. And he just sort of continually exceeds your expectations. He's a joy to watch. He's been doing it for such a long time, but everything's always exciting. Everything's always new. He cares very much about what he's doing. And I think that's sometimes important to remember. You should enjoy what you do or don't do it.
Absolutely.
He's brilliant.
I was also going to ask you, Anna, you've had so many amazing episodes this season to choose from. If, by chance you were nominated for an award and you had to pick your season highlight, your best episode, have you given any thought to what you would class as your best performance of the season so far?
It's so funny because performance is so much about taste, isn't it? So it's like, what do you like versus what do other people like? But the things that I really, I loved the first episode back, like the first episode of this season, just because I think it was extremely brave to have that all happen on the other side. And I enjoyed it because there was so much fun to do. It was enjoyable. I also, I enjoyed Entrada too. I thought that was fun to see. Like, that was the first time that I got to really play the two characters within the same episode and kind of see them next to each other, because you sort of, unless they're next to each other, you kind of, it's easy to think that they're the same person. That was fun. And then Marionette, which is when Olivia's sort of just arrived back, and that, I thought that was a really beautiful and heartbreaking episode, just because it was like the nail in the coffin of the Peter and Olivia thing, which is, which we'd been following and which we'd been invested in for so long. I thought that was the first really kind of open conversation that really kind of had. So that would be my favourites. Yeah. But that's just from a character arc's point of view.
Of course. I mean, you could pick all those scenes where you're kicking ass and your things are exploding, but really it's all about the character. And Marionette in particular is, the cafeteria scene where Olivia and Peter have that confrontation is quite amazing. And if I may, there's also the episode called Bloodline where faux Olivia has the child. You get to do a lot of really awesome stuff in that as well. So to have 4 episodes in one season to choose from is just gold. That's fantastic. And hopefully maybe you'll have even more in season 4. But
yeah.
We that's got to be gold for you, right?
Absolutely. I feel extremely lucky. I mean, I've been given so much stuff to work with this year, and I've been completely engaged in it, which makes it a pleasure to do. But I've had a ball, and I'm extremely grateful. I didn't know that it was going to go where it went, and I'm just thrilled.
Tell me about each week you're getting, or every 10 days, or however often it happens, you get a new script. What, on a show like this that has so much plot development and so much character development for you, tell us, what is it like getting that script each time, and you get to jump in and you get to find out what's happening next?
Well, when you get it, we're all so excited because we only get it a couple of days before we start shooting, so you never really quite know. We're sort of always left with the cliffhangers at the end of the episodes also. But then it's always, when you're shooting, your perspective is different because I always feel that the episodes have 3 lives. There's the script that you first get, and then, when you're shooting it, there'll be other little amendments will come through, and also it becomes then, a thing that moves. And then there's the episode as it airs, which is different again because it's kind of, you're disconnected from it because you're not doing it, it's up there. And so each one of those stages is sort of different and special in its own way. But I have to remember sometimes we'll shoot something and then it might subtly change by the time it goes to air, and I have to try and keep track of what I read, what we shot, and what actually ends up being the truth of it.
Absolutely. Well, Anna, thank you so much for your time today. We wish you all the best for season 4. You're going to the Paley Fest tonight to continue to promote the show, which is really awesome. It's an amazing thing to do. Apparently it's a lot of fun. Good luck with that. Good luck with the Emmys coming up.
Thank you.
And all the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.